So namaste everybody. Can we do this well? May I request all of you to please stand up here. For me this is more sacred than the Jana Gana. So wherever in the world I go, I start with namaste. Because though a lot of people think it's an Indian word, it is not an Indian word. Many people also think it's a Hindu word. It is also not a Hindu word. It is a human word, and I'll explain the meaning to you in a little while. So let's do this well. Namaste.
Namaste.
Very nice, brilliant. Please sit down. Alright. So the full name is Jeroninio Almeida. Don't try to pronounce it. It was also my grandfather's name, so my parents ended up giving it to me. Then they realized they couldn't pronounce it, so they shortened it to Jay. So that's the conversation I was having with Raji. He said, what should I call you? I said, don't worry, just call me Jay. So you can just call me Jay. So I'm from a place called Goa. I always joke. I'm in Munnar, which is God's own country. And I always joke with my friends, where does God go for a holiday? Goa. Right? So you take the share of points from Kerala tourism. Right? And I don't like calling myself a Goan because I find very few human beings in the world. And I find very few Indians in India. You find Malayalis, Goans, Marathas, Punjabis, Tamilians. Indians you really need to look for with a microscope and a magnifying glass. You sometimes meet them overseas, but then suddenly they tell you, no, I'm a person of Indian origin. And the guys over there also stand for the Star-Spangled Banner and not for the Jana Gana Mana. Right? So, I'm going to basically provoke a thought process. Right? So, namaste to all of you at the Munnar College of Engineering and the TEDxMunnar. This is what my favorite teacher and Greek philosopher said, that I cannot teach anyone anything, I can only make you think. So I'm going to provoke a thought process because my topic today is based on a book I have written. It's called Karishma, the Miracle. And everyone in the world looks for that miracle in a church or a temple or a mosque or a gurudwara or nowadays with godmen and ashrams. Without realizing that that church or the temple or the mosque or the gurudwara or the godman and the ashram cannot give you that miracle. Because there's only one person in the world who can give you that miracle. Who is that? That is you. And this learning comes from this part of the world which is now called India. And I believe that all life and leadership lessons actually originated in India with this one word called Namaste. And the basic meaning of this word, the entire gesture was very well defined, very well designed. Because what it basically means is that I respect you. I surrender my ego to you. I feel positive because of you. I am humble in front of you. I need to practice humility with you. I need to be positive with you. I need to connect with you. I am because you are, because I am nothing if not for you. I am vulnerable. And that vulnerability, when people understand it, is power. But unfortunately, and let me throw in a caveat before I go forward, a lot of what I say may hurt what you think, but it will hurt you only because you think that way. If you can keep an open mind to what I'm saying and understand the depth of what I'm saying, then it won't hurt you because it will, I promise you it will improve. This is what has happened to us today. I call it the monkey in the L'Oreal salon. Right? You know monkeys? Good looking guys. I believe they are our ancestors also, as per Darwin's theory. And the monkey in the L'Oreal salon, because L'Oreal is my favorite cosmetics company. I worked with them in the past, and I know L'Oreal products are very effective. They can make me look good, and they can make that monkey look like Aishwarya Rai or Brad Pitt. But it's cosmetic change. After the cosmetics die out, the image withers, and the monkey starts monkeying around again because it's superficial. You're not going deep down into the monkey, because if you really want to change the monkey or the monkey's image, you need to change the character, the thought process, the beliefs, the values, the emotions of the monkey. And that's when you get a better behaved monkey. Failing which, it becomes superficial. How many of you really use the word namaste in your growing up years? Let's have a show of hands. Brilliant, very nice, excellent. So you would know the meaning. Tell me the meaning.
I bow before the God in you.
Very nice. And I promise you it's much more than that.
No, Mama Aste.
Sorry?
No, Mama Aste.
Okay. So close, Raji, but it's much more than that. And because we don't understand, we just say namaste. If you enter any 5-star hotel or any 4-star hotel, in the front of a star says namaste. And if I had the time to stop and ask, do you know the meaning? And they're like, it's a welcome greeting. And I said, whoever told you that? It's not a welcome greeting. And here's what it means. The God in me respects the God in you. The divinity in me salutes the divinity in you. And the unlimited potential in me recognizes the unlimited potential in you. Because all of us in this room, 7 million people in this world, are blessed with unlimited potential. We can go for extraordinary, but what do we settle for? What do we settle for? Ordinary. And that's exactly what Namaste means. This powerful learning came from this part of the world, which is now called India. We've forgotten it. And a lot of places in the Far East actually practice it better than us because we've got too intoxicated without realizing the best learning, the Eastern wisdom came from this part of the world called India. Any of you been to Thailand? Don't worry, it's not a trick question. The men can put their hands up. Okay. So in Thailand, you would notice that all the Thai people, whether it's the vendor on the street or the king of Thailand or the CEO or the prime minister, whoever, they all say Savadika very gracefully. And they globalized 20 years before us. But they have not lost touch with good tradition. They practice it. We also practice traditions, but unfortunately not the good ones. We now want to fight the Supreme Court ruling that crackers are a tradition. So we should allow that to happen. Without realizing that we are one of the most populated countries in the world. Polluted countries in the world. And populated, of course. Favorite pastime. Don't mind the humor. Says a lot with the humor. Right? Alright, so let's all stand up again. What am I going to do for you? Let's figure that out before we go deeper. Alright? So let's all spread our hands out. My topic is the law of transformation. That's what I call as the mirror. You all heard of the law of attraction? I believe in it, but not the way a lot of people are teaching it nowadays. That you put a thought out there in the universe and it comes back to you. Just keep the hands up. It's some exercise after lunch. Okay? Are we good? So let's figure this out. So without thinking, very unconsciously, close your hands so that one thumb comes over the other thumb. And just keep it like that. Some of you would have the right thumb above. Some of you would have the left thumb above. Do you know which thumb you have above?
Yes.
Would you remember it?
Yes.
Brilliant. Open your hands up again. Now, with a lot of thinking, not unconsciously, but consciously, with a lot of thinking, bring the other thumb above. Easy? Are you comfortable?
No.
Or are you feeling some discomfort?
Discomfort.
That's the law of transformation. Transformation and change causes discomfort. Please sit down. It displaces you from your comfort zone. And like I told you, I have a fundamental problem with the law of attraction because how do you put this thought out there when you're negative inside and expect to get positive energy? It sounds like mumbo jumbo. But hey, it's not mumbo jumbo. It's neuroscience. But people have written these books called Law of Attraction, Secret, God knows what, and made it into mumbo jumbo because they're not really explaining the science to you. What you believe is what you become. What you think is what you do. So if you really want to change your behaviors, if you really want to transform yourself, you need to go deep into your belief system and change it there. If you're not changing it there, you're the monkey in the L'Oreal salon. Because you not really examine why is it that I think like that? Why is it that I'm behaving like this? Why is it that I don't have faith in myself? Why is it that I cannot unleash my own potential? And because we don't like to get out of our comfort zone, we don't end up transformed. Because we settle for ordinary, we don't go for extraordinary. Because as human beings, we don't like confusion. We don't like confusion, we like conclusion. We like to take a concluding kind of a result in everything. We don't want to go beyond. Did all of you wake up today? Yes? You did? Very good. Now that you've woken up, close your eyes. Close your eyes and I'll tell you something. Close your eyes, please, all of you. I'm watching you. You can't fake it. Okay? Now what I'm going to tell you is something very simple and the truth. We are all going to die very soon. I promise you. That's your absolute reality. Please open your eyes. Did you feel good hearing that?
No.
No? But that's your ultimate truth. That is the only guarantee you have in life. That you will die one day. But you don't want to accept that because we don't want to think about our mortality. Now, there's huge research which has been done around the world about people who are dying or people who had near-death experiences. Besides reading all that research, I have researched a lot of people on my own because that is the premise of my book series, which is called Mojo's Inspirator. That when you are aware of your death, life becomes more meaningful. Life becomes more purposeful. Time becomes more important. You start using your time well because you know, I was born, I will die. I have limited time in this world. So I want to use my time well. I want to focus on my most important roles, responsibilities, goals, and I don't want to waste my time on futile things. I want to live a life of purpose. I want to live a life of contribution. I want to create a legacy before I go because that I have to go is the ultimate truth. But yet in our culture, where this was taught in Gurukuls early, that be aware, be cognizant that you will go one day. You know where I'm talking about, go. Right? That be aware that you have a limited lifespan. Look at it this way. The day you were born, the race towards death began. Yes or no? And unfortunately in that limited lifespan, just around 10% of the world, just around 10%, maybe lesser, focus on really unleashing their extraordinary potential. Because the rest settle for ordinary. Because we settle for routine. We don't really go for ordinary. And it doesn't help that modern education dumbs us down further. Our modern education system, the world over, except for a few countries in Europe, makes us into coolies. And I say that loud. I know I'm in an engineering college, but I say that loud. Modern education does not ask you fundamental questions about self-awareness. Modern education focuses on competence, not on character. Without realizing that competence can get you to a certain extent, but what keeps you there or what takes you beyond is character, not competence. Would you agree? Or are you finding it difficult to understand this? Because this is very counterintuitive. What is this guy talking about? Character? What is character? We don't never learn character in school, have we? How many of you can truly answer the question, who am I? I know the answer. I work with people day in, day out. Nobody has ever thought about this answer. Most people leave the world without even knowing an iota of who they are. They can't answer this one fundamental question. Who am I? And I promise you it's not some mumbo-jumbo, exotic, esoteric question. It's a multi-zillion-dollar industry. That's why you have so many temples, churches, mosques, ashrams. But no guru can tell you who you are, because there's only one guru in the world who can tell you who you are, and that is you. But you've never gone deep in there, because we've settled for ordinary. Now my journey in life is to tell stories of real heroes. I'm going to show you a video of some real heroes who really transformed themselves. And you will see, when you see them, that they've gone beyond the ordinary. They've gone for extraordinary. They are human miracles. The miracle is within us, not anywhere else. So maybe play the video, please.
courage, no hope. There was nothing that I had. And somewhere I saw the ability to recreate myself. So I gathered the pieces and recreated myself.
Small video we put together when I was reaching out to people who I want to profile in my book. You've seen some of the people profiled there. We also created an oratory program called the Magnificent Seven. And I promise you, none of us are magnificent. We are all very broken people. But the premise of the book is that there's not a single person in the world who's not broken. Everybody breaks at some time or the other. But when broken, do you give up and break down, or do you persevere and break through? That is the miracle. And you've seen some examples over there. What inspired me to write this book and create this video and oratory experience is that whenever I'm working in companies or organizations, I find people who are not content with their lives. They're not happy. They're always seeking happiness in the materialistic. They're always living somebody else's life. They want the car which their neighbor has. They want the house which their rich relative has. And in that process, they mess themselves up. They're living very superficial. They don't go deep into themselves. They don't understand what is it that really makes me content in my life. That is the transformation. You've got to go deep in there. What really makes you content? What do I really need? What do I want? And that's the character education that we are embarking on next. So that's exactly what it is. When we tell this story, I'll just tell you one of the stories. We are all broken people. Some of us are not just physically broken. We are also spiritually, emotionally, and mentally broken. So you saw a person who was a victim of domestic violence and marital rape. Rashmi Anand, her name is. She was beaten black and blue by her husband every day for 20 years of her life. I won't name him as a very prominent, eminent Supreme Court lawyer, but she is forgiven. So forgiveness is what you learn from Rashmi Anand. And because she's forgiven, she's free. She's moved on. She carries no resentment and bitterness. And a very big hero because she helps other victims and survivors of domestic violence and marital rape to cope with their lives, to get police cases registered. So Preeti Monga, she went blind completely by the age of 12. Very beautiful woman. Inside out. It's not cosmetic change. And when we go and talk, people are wondering, what am I complaining and whining in life about? I have my hands. I have my legs. I have my eyes. I don't need to tell them anything. One of the persons over there is a corporate executive, after which he was an entrepreneur. Holiday in Goa at the Taj Holiday Village, misses his footing on the dive board, falls down, spinal cord injury. Today confined to a wheelchair for the past 17 years. Whenever I'm traveling with him, I always say, Girish, if I was in your state, I would go for euthanasia. And he said, Jerry, why do you want to be in my state? He's learned to laugh at himself. A lot of people think humor is about laughing at stand-up comics and comedians like Johnny Lever. Humor is about learning to laugh at yourself and your situation. And it makes life more easy. And I said, Jerry, forget it. You don't want to be in my state. And in case you're ever in my state, Jerry, you and I will go together on wheelchairs and inspire people. We'll still do that. And Girish comes with me. He's on his wheelchair. He's got no mobility over a single body part. So he's confined. The only body part he can move is his neck and his face. And the people who I know are always feeling bitter and resentful and discontent with their lives are listening to us. And Girish also has no control over his internal organs. So he's sitting on the stage giving a talk with me and he could shit himself, literally. And the excreta would go and collect in a body bag which is attached to his wheelchair. The audience doesn't know, Girish doesn't know because Girish has no sense of smell or a sense of feeling. But I get to know because the odor permeates onto the stage. And this man is talking without knowing it. I am the positive man, I am alive. What are you complaining about? Be alive. That's your dream. So with that, I'll close. I know I've exceeded my time. Thank you and Jai Hind.